Nhlanhla Lux,
Commander Mone.
welcome to the virtual Mkuku.
Yeah.
I think it's been a very busy year for you. And for many people, I think they still have that Operation Dudula kind of label on top of you. But I know you're first and foremost Soweto Parliament. So I think my first question to you is, what is Soweto Parliament? When was it founded? And what do you guys do?
Soweto Parliament is a people's assembly that is non-partisan, meaning we're not political at all. We don't have any political alignment. And in Soweto Parliament, we directly and literally reflect the people's collective intelligence. Whenever there's a problem in the township, we sit around as leaders in Soweto. Soweto Parliament is made up of different industry leaders, economic, meaning business, social leaders, community leaders, guys from Hostel, Dindona are part of us, the police stations, all police stations in Soweto are part of us. So we sit and unite and have a united discussions that will see a way forward around many problems that we face as a community of Soweto. And I'm the president of that collective. I've got an executive that does daily operations, because as Parliament, after we pass down resolutions, let's say on electricity or on crime, resolutions that are passed in Parliament have to be implemented. So the executive, alongside our ward, smaller community structures, would then implement everything that comes from Parliament.
You know, for a long time, I thought you were Soweto Youth Parliament. Have other people ever asked you that? Is it because there used to be a youth parliament in Joburg that maybe I'm confused?
Yeah, look, a lot of people say youth, but perhaps that's because the president is young. Yeah. And automatically, from conditioning of the systems, they think that whatever you lead as a young person is just for young people, not understanding that the responsibility is way bigger than that, way bigger than that. So it's not a youth parliament, even though most of the priority that we put forward is always for the youth, because if you're only going to prioritize very old people, then you're doing what the politicians are doing. And then we might as well just become a political party because we're doing what everyone else is doing. So this one is for the collective, priority being the youth, because the youth are the future, will always remain the future of our community. So if we're not investing in the youth, then we're not investing in the future of our community.
How old were you when you guys started? Do you even remember? And how old is Soweto Parliament now?
Yeah. So it's about 13 years old now.
Congrats, by the way.
The first project we did as young people under Soweto Parliament was to build walls for Abomakoko in the hood that take care of babies. You know, those home crèche, home nursery school setups.
Yes.
That's not
informal, not registered.
You know, like if you are in your teens and you fall pregnant and you still want to go to school, there'll always be that gogo you can drop off the child. And even if you don't have the money necessary that they need or expect from you, they still continue taking care of the kids. So we're like, who takes care of them? So we then mobilized builders in the community, and the builders all raised their hands, and we said, let's all come together and collega for the materials that are needed to build these walls, and went to a little bit of corporate businesses in the hood, and we did it. And even today, the walls are standing.
How do you get old people to follow you as a young person? Because, you know, especially culturally, we have this thing of abantu abadala must lead uyingane. So how did you and your team, who I'm assuming there's other young people there, how did you guys get old people to follow your lead?
Yeah, look, when there's no electricity in the community, every house is pitch black. There's no electricity. So when we solve the problems of our community, it's not age-based. And that's how old people followed us. But the direct answer to that question is old people also found the need to follow us because our leadership resonated with their hearts as well. They followed our work, not our words. Because you can talk all you want. You can try sell ideas all you want. People buy into reality. People buy into a real product. People buy into real service. So our service is real. Our track record is far greater than most so-called leaders and politicians. They just talk. We act. I've got people that we buried for real because we got shot in the process of fighting drugs, fighting crime. So people in our community, regardless of their age, have seen our work, have been with us during these struggles. So we're not Twitter warriors, social media warriors. That's why I don't even.
About Penueli.
No. But you see.
No, I'm kidding.
Sure, I know you're kidding. So, but Penuel, if you're trending on Twitter, you're not trending in real life. Yeah. Sorry to burst your bubble if you're out there thinking that, oh, you're trending today. You're not trending in real life. Go to Soweto, go to townships, go to where people have real problems. Let's see if you're trending there. We trend there, bro, in real life. Go to come Sasa, Dave, pay day asas, Boma Koko sitting somewhere waiting for their money at ShopRite or whatever. Go, just say, Nhlanhla Lux something. Say negative things, like how you easily hide behind your Twitter account and say nonsense. Boma Koko will probably chow you alive because they know that that person you talk about is an asset for us here in the township, not there virtually somewhere chilling. Oh, virtually cook. I didn't do
man.
That. Yeah.
Take it easy on the pass. I lost my question. Let me go back to an older question I wanted to ask. What spurred you to pick up this fight? I mean, you had arguably a privileged upbringing if you look at a school perspective. What made you pick up the fight? And here's my question. Why did you not just join politics? I mean, you speak about your own structures. There's ward councillors, there's political parties. So
politics as a system is something that I understand dearly. So I didn't want to join that system. A lot of people who get into politics don't understand politics. Yeah. Politics is in your country, even in your community. Let me start in your community. In your community, as a ward councillor or as a branch politician or ward community politician, you are part and parcel of a city, a political system that is city-based. And even if you make it to the top and become a big player in the city, you then part of a system, political system that is provincial-based. Even when you make it to a premier of whatever province, you still answer to a political system that is national-based, meaning the country now. Even if you make it as a president of the country, you're still part of an answer to an African continental political system. I can even start and say SADC, but let's move away from SADC, say Africa Union. And even if you make it as the president of Africa Union, you're still part of a global system of politics. United Nations. And United Nations are, so for example, let's speak about pandemics. I don't want to say that word, but you know which word, because they'll not allow this to play on YouTube. That's how much control they have over our so-called independent thinking. So they imposed these things on us because we are part of their system, global system. They knew it will go to every household, every community, if they drop it at the top, because they've got presidents that answer to them. So I always knew that I must protect my independent thinking. If I'm a politician, I don't have independent thinking. But right now, we've managed to achieve way more than political parties, not politicians. I don't think that's strong enough for people to understand. We've achieved as young people in Soweto across the country more than what politics has achieved. Okay, let's speak facts. Where were the politicians during the looting? They were all in their fancy houses watching their 100-inch TVs, watching, oh, now Meadowlands is being looted. 12 people dead. Now Protea Mall in Protea has been looted. 7 people dead. Oh, now it's moved to another place. People are dying left, right, and center. Where were they? Where was the law enforcement, Penuel? Penuel, where were your so-called everyday politicians? Nebal guy. I can call them by name, but I don't need to give them more energy because they're running out of fuel now. So where were they? They were nowhere to be found. Who came to save the day? Young people across this country. If you look in our space in Soweto, Maponya Mall was not touched because young people were standing there saying that over dead bodies. And what we're protecting at Maponya Mall, we're protecting the little that our people have in terms of jobs, employment. Number 2, in terms of the taxi industry operates through Maponya. Maponya is a big player, is an artery, is a heartbeat of a lot of the lines that connect because of the traffic count, the more heads. We're protecting the black-owned businesses in Maponya Mall. We protect, I can go on, we're protecting the township economy that sees food on our table for many of our households. So again, if I am a politician, then, and I act the way I did, and I mobilize guys with big rifles, big AKs, AK-47s, R5, and big guns, and we are all surrounding them all, I'd probably have gone to a disciplinary hearing when it all ends, to say you've put the political party under disrepute, what, you know, when they speak their political English. So Mchana, for that, we are now being suspended. So no one can suspend me now. So why must I subject myself to a position where I can be suspended, Penwell? And lastly, political system is analog. Community leadership activism is DSG, if you understand cars. So why must I reduce myself from a McLaren, self-changing, gearbox, DSG, and go to analog where I must find stick and start changing gears? It can never be. Those are old systems that we cherish because they brought the liberation, the freedom that we have now, the little freedom that or the so-called freedom that we have now. And we need to carry on and pick up the spear and move forward. But we can't pick up the spear. Do you hear that? It's figurative. We can't pick up the spear because the enemy has an AK-47. Well, what are you going to throw? What spear are you going to throw to someone holding an AK-47? Look at what's going on now. Our infrastructure is collapsing at the hands of the enemy. How do you fight those people? You must match their force. Do you think they're carrying spears? The answer is no. Political system is a spear.
We can't pick up Umkhonto.
You can't do that
anymore.
You can't do that.
Do you believe that the political system is fully outdated, number one? And following from that is, if we were to achieve electoral reform to whatever you think it should look like, would you then consider running for that type of political office all the way to the highest levels?
Yeah, look, real leadership, you don't run for it.
Okay.
You don't run. All of them that are running are not making a difference. I can call them by name, but again, let's not. Let's keep this simple. Look at everyone who puts their posters on the wall. Vote for me, vote for me. Hey, what, we're taking this. Again, when the people's material needs in our communities are a priority, they are nowhere to be seen. You find them at rallies filling up stadiums, singing Oliver Tambo. After the rally, there's still drugs in our communities. There's still a drug dealer converting a possible future president into a drug addict, Penwell. A future entrepreneur is being converted into a drug addict as I speak now, Penwell. So we can't sit and pretend that politics is the way to go. It can never be the way to go. It's outdated. It did its job. We need to come up with a new system that can take our people forward, our communities forward, and the future of this country forward. And that future, if you ask me what it looks like, it's a future that is colorblind. I don't care. A lot of people will want to racialize success. You can't. Right now, as we speak right now, there's a child sitting in Eldos who has a potential of leading this country into greener pastures, but is not black enough. So we're going to now overlook the brilliance that comes with that child. There's a child sitting in Indonesia who's Indian. No, but he can't speak because when he speaks, we're not player.
Sure, they call them names.
We can't do those things. The reason why it's important for us to understand racial history is for us to be equipped with the knowledge necessary to unite our people, because in racial history, you understand the differences that brought about that racial segregation. Once you understand that, then you are a true institution of unity with your knowledge. But a lot of these people who are sitting in your cabinet in parliament don't even understand the history. Some of them were parachuted into those positions. Some of them had to open their legs for them to be called comrade. No, I'm telling you the truth. Some of the boys had to bend over and get it up the back for them to even drive a G-Wagon and be called comrade. These are realities of our lives. Some of our mothers still carry the trauma of being raped in camps, saying that Bafita from South African to a camp in another country, going there hopefully to fight for the freedom. Or maybe be equipped to come back and fight the apartheid regime. Half of them were raped in those camps, and these are stories that were never told. So politics has a dark side that people don't know, and people are just convinced and conditioned and manipulated to believe that the political system will take them to the next step. It will not take you to the next step. And I'm not saying that we must disregard those who wish or have political ambition who are our age. We must support them, but not all of us must do it, because all of us must also invest in other means and mediums and platforms that can liberate our people, because politics has done its job.
Yo, I'm so glad you're raising what you're raising now. It sounds like you want a system of meritocracy, in the sense that you're saying, don't campaign, don't run, do the work. And if you're doing good work and if you're leading, it will be obvious that you're a leader.
Precisely, Penno. If
And
you say
people
to me
follow
that you want to, if you say Penno is campaigning to be the president of the country, a sober-minded South African must say that, show me what Penno has done for his community. Maybe then he can replicate the success throughout the country. All of them, think of your favorite politician right now. Whoever he is, it doesn't matter, black, white, colored, Indian. And tell me the top 3 things that they've done, that they've done in their community. That can give us faith that if this person runs the country, we might just have success in the country like his community is enjoying success. No one will raise their hand and say, come and vet me in terms of my community in parliament right now. They'll all hide. It will be a break. That's why they make a noise in parliament. They make a noise because they don't have a plan for success. Penno, if you and I have a plan to make $1 billion, you and I will never be caught making a noise. We'll be focused, all eyes on the $1 billion. Now, if you're in parliament and the people have put you there, all eyes, focus, attention should be on the people's needs and solving the people's problems. But what do we hear in parliament? We hear they move our focus. And even now, some people will think that I'm just talking. My man, you will hear, pay back the money. We'll hear pala pala. You'll hear this and that. The material needs of our people do not depend on that nonsense.
That's a fact.
The fact is that in Westbury, they are drug dealers. The fact is that in Soweto, there are millions of young people who are on drugs. And no one is saying that from Wednesday, we are taking all the drug dealers. For a simple pandemic or epidemic, you call the army, you call South African military.
Onto the people.
Yeah, onto the people for a pandemic, because the global leaders have commanded, and that exposes you that you're just another leader who's been commanded by others. Now your people are not really commanded by you, because if they were commanded by you, we wouldn't have drugs in our communities. We wouldn't have the education system in South Africa subjected to now. OPE and all this nonsense that our people are being taught. I'm a product of a useless education system. I would have been a better human being if I was taught skills. We are fighting with our fellow Africans and African brothers and sisters and even other foreigners from outside the continent. Do you know what's the real fight about? It's about the education system. They were taught the necessary skills to come and compete in our own economy. We are drowning. We can't even compete. That's the real fight. If we're a real leader in this country, we'll understand it. Penwell, even if I get rid of all the illegal and documented foreigners in this country, who do you think is going to service the low end of the economy that they are currently servicing?
Because the people don't have skills.
We don't have the skills necessary. And that's why in Soweto next year, there's going to be a school that these young people, one of them is the one you are interviewing now. We are opening up a school next year in Soweto that is skill-based, nothing else. No fancy names, no fancy terminologies. Skill-based, tiling, plumbing, mechanical engineering, so that when our kids, photography, videography, every day, millions of pictures are taken in South Africa using a cell phone. But how many of our young people who are graduating matric can fix a cell phone? We must always outsource it from the Pakistanis or anyone else who came with that skill. So we are saying that we can't always sing Oliver Tambo, or you can't always sing about Mandela when there's a problem. To fix the problem is for us to build our own schools, architect our own systems, and implement our own systems that will see us successful today and see our kids successful tomorrow. There's no two ways about it. Don't even politic about it. That's why we are building the school next year. We're not talking and singing about it.
The second part about meritocracy that I do like that you highlighted was, it's not about race, it's about who's best. We're seeing with what guys like Chris Papas and KZN, Gates and McKenzie, for example. I've been dragged recently for joining AfriForum, and I joined for my own reasons, which I'm not going to speak about on this platform. Would you consider, now that you're mentioning the skills school, AfriForum has created an NPO where people can send money every month. They work with Solidarity, and they've taken their money and they've built a tertiary institution for skills in particular, but for Afrikaans-speaking people, would you guys at Soweto Parliament consider something like that, setting up an NPO so that people like myself who can see the work that you're doing, who are not here for the noise and the politics, are going to say, I'm willing to sign up a debit order to put money there to build?
Actually, we operate on that model. Yeah, NPO. The difference is that we don't invite people to give us money, because that's where external influence starts with the infiltration. If you give me R1 million to do X, Y, and Z in my community, that means next time you call me, if you are, maybe your property is the one that's selling drugs in Soweto, then I'm going to be conflicted when it's time to address drugs and you are part of it. Sure. So we are saying to the people, whenever we speak sports, those who are interested in sports will find value to contribute. We don't invite you to contribute. We are now hosting the Soweto Olympics. Do you think that we have an account where we said all chip in so that we can have the Olympics? No, we work with those who have the quality to see us go forward.
Your fear is infiltration from money, guys. I'm asking because
AfriForum, it's a reality. So
AfriForum has kept how much money individuals can contribute.
The slight difference between AfriForum maybe and Soweto Parliament is that AfriForum has a similar characteristic of political parties. They serve their members.
True.
Whatever their members dictate is what will happen.
True.
The same applies for political parties. That's why they go for annual general meetings so that they can have that. We serve the people, whether you like me or not, whether you've gone on to lie about me, Nhlanhla Lux, or not. When the lights turn off, we take the fight to make sure that the community has electricity again. And that's for you too, even those who spoke ill of us. So we lead everyone. We lead absolutely everyone, male, female, doesn't matter your sexual preference, it doesn't matter how much you hate me, you will always benefit from my leadership. And that's a fundamental difference. So AfriForum can then say, look, let's look at our members and let's have fundraising from our members and yes, open up for public and whatever else. I don't have members because everyone who's in Soweto is a beneficiary of our leadership. We only operate with leaders, industry leaders. Who takes a tax on a daily basis? Our people in many forms, gender, sex, etc. Educated, uneducated, they take a taxi. So when we sit with the taxi associations, all the leaders, and say that, how do we improve our service? It's not for them, it's for our people. Even those who disagree with us benefit from our leadership.
How do you work around the need for resources? Because it sounds like you're speaking similar to the political argument. We will not campaign for votes, we will lead. Similarly with money, we will not ask you for money. If you see value, you'll contribute. But how do you work around the resources that are needed? Is it always a hope that people will see value and contribute?
It's not a hope. We don't operate on hope.
Okay.
We are operators, real operators. We understand the mission, we identify the mission, we define the mission. Those who are in the same room who saw the value of attending that meeting, we help everyone be on the same page in terms of the mission, definition, and understanding. After the mission, you don't throw a target. A target is ABC. The target must be hit. Doesn't matter how you look at it. And we're always successful at hitting the target. Go back, Maponya Mall. The mission is for us to mobilize enough so that we protect Maponya Mall. And who's the target? At that time, the target was the enemy/target was unidentified. So it can't be a Zulu person, can't be a Sotho person, it can't be, because you only can then identify and define a target once the target is captured. But the target was going around killing people and burning down malls. So it was unidentified, which is a very difficult mission. So ours was always to defend. We couldn't have attacked because you don't know your target. If you know your target, you can attack easier and better and more strategically. So for us, another example, maybe practical example, is the Soweto Olympics. What do we need for Soweto Olympics to happen? We need to make sure that the young people of Soweto are given a date in a sports field, a venue, to say, come and display your talent. If you win the 100 meters, we take the top 8 who are going to play in the finals, who are going to take part in the Soweto Olympics finals. And if you win in the finals, you are the fastest person in Soweto on record. Sure. So what do you think I needed there? Whose resources did I need? I needed the people. Yeah. The most important resource in any community, the people. The people then came and we proved who's the fastest, who, and the talent, we gave the young people an opportunity to express their talent in terms of sports. So we didn't need anyone special. And that's what politics does. Politics tells you that every problem must be outsourced. It makes you stupid. So we're saying, no, we're not outsourcing solutions for our people's problems. We are the solution. We are going to make sure that the young people move from the street corners and play soccer. We attracted 22,000 young people with the Soweto Olympics. Not spectator value, participation. The country's never, even your own government, my government, has never had an event where there's participation, 22,000 young people in any given position or time. We did it in Soweto. We're not even flexing about it. We don't even put it on Instagram. We do it because the real beneficiaries are our people, and as long as the benefits have met the hands of the beneficiary, to hell with what Instagram or Twitter has to say, because those people half the time are not a part of our beneficiaries anyway.
True. Do you have capacity to hit specifically other townships? And if not, or even if you are, do you guys have a program where you're currently upskilling identified or visible leaders in other townships to come through and be like, come work with us, come study from us, and then take your learnings and take them home and start where you are?
Yes, Ben. Look, what we've done as Soweto Parliament is we have a blueprint that has obviously worked for us and big time. We shared the blueprint with Alexandra. Alexandra now has its own Alexandra Parliament. When the Minister of Police has something in Alexandra, they are a stakeholder that they engage to say that because you know the ground, you run the ground, daily operators of this ground, how do we move forward if you want to achieve 1, 2, 3? The young people that side are vibrating with so much electricity, you could swear if you close your eyes, you think it's in Soweto. So we've got more than 12 operating parliaments. We've got countless who are waiting to operate, because how it works is we need to help you understand the blueprint, help you understand how to function, help you understand the systems that you are functioning around, help you to understand the risks of operating and the benefits of operating under parliaments, because we are non-partisan. Don't fall for the trap of politics. Don't fall for this. Do this, and mobilize your people in this using these tools, because it worked for us. And townships are twins. If you understand, the dynamics of any township is the same dynamic that we find in Soweto. So the answer is we are multiplying our success and sharing our success blueprint with many other townships. The practical example I can give you is with the Soweto Olympics. Now we've got Township Olympics. Because the success we had in Soweto, we've invited other townships. Alexandra's coming, Soshanguve's coming, Atteridgeville is coming, Tembisa's coming, Katoras is coming. We've invited 2 other townships outside the province. They'll all meet in Soweto in November, at the end of November. I think it's the 19th, actually, Saturday of November. They're all going to be participating, showing their skills, competing as townships, and showing that townships have value. Because it's about time we created systems that are for us and are by us. That's the real.
And you do speak about systems.
Sure.
This is going to be a short question. I hope the answer will be short as well. Are you still working with Operation Dudula? Do you guys still have a good relationship currently?
Yeah. So Operation Dudula, I'm not personally working with Operation Dudula.
Okay. Anymore?
The leadership of Operation Dudula. I'm not working with the leadership of Operation Dudula, but I work with the many millions of people in Operation Dudula, because millions of them came into Operation Dudula because they trusted my leadership. So I can't leave them on the bench when I leave. I mean, like any other movement or any other soccer team, you can take it to sports if you want. You can have an era of bad leadership. But because you trusted the old leadership, and I suspect, maybe if I joke with facts, that's what's happening to this country. The group of leaders that people loved, they are holding on to the history. And they're not actually holding the current leadership accountable for what they're supposed to be held accountable for. So I left Operation Dudula because it was taking a direction that I was not there to lead. When I led Operation Dudula, for millions of people to know, the mission was simple. What we were trying to achieve was simple. We were fighting illegal, undocumented foreigners that were undermining the laws of South Africa. Now, when the evolution or revolution, depending on how you want to see it, started moving to fighting all foreigners, I said, to hell with that. I can't lead such a nonsense fight. I'm not fighting all foreigners. I'm fighting undocumented foreigners. Because if you're saying the fight must be against all foreigners, it doesn't matter where your thinking comes from. But if your conclusion is we are fighting all foreigners, you are saying all embassies must pack and leave. You are also saying our ambassadors across the world must pack and come home because we are now an island in this global community. And I said, no.
Are you still fighting against illegal undocumented
I fight
foreigners?
Every single day. Anyone who's undermining the laws of South Africa, including undocumented, especially undocumented foreigners. We can't live with ghosts in our community. If you need to be held accountable. Accountability is the operative word here. If you are not on the systems, your fingerprint, you kill people, you do this, and we can't catch you because you are undocumented foreign. How does that work? Everyone in this room has an ID. You drive, you must stop. By virtue of being undocumented, that means even your driving is illegal because you can't get a driver's license. You are undocumented to begin with because there's supporting documents with you applying for a driver's license or learner's license. And you can't have those supporting documents if you are undocumented. So how do you drive around when in our country? Who holds you accountable for rape, for this? I'm easily held accountable for the smallest of things. You can be held accountable for the biggest of things. That can't be right.
Are you guys fighting the foreigners themselves, or are you fighting government, home affairs, the border control?
Look, when I was leading Operation Dudula, we're literally creating a strong vehicle that puts government under pressure. So in a proper terminology would be a pressure group that makes sure that the government does what the government's supposed to do. Because a lot of the problem came when government was sleeping and half-time government was corrupt. So the sleeping and the corruption equals to our reality today. So we're a pressure group that said, government, let's go. Let's do the right thing. Because failure for you to do the right thing, we are going to have to do it for ourselves. And the law allows that some of these things for us to do ourselves. Because a democratic state in South Africa, in particular, we've got something called citizens' arrest. I'll go out and start arresting all drug dealers. Do you know how much, I'm telling you, do you know how much war that will cause? And some of us have enough in between our legs to do that. No problem. Whatever they think they have, we have. But again, we are not caught up. I don't have a friend that sells drugs. Part of the system is that, again, the funding thing. If you are funded, your campaigns are funded by drug dealers or cigarette smugglers. I'm not going anywhere about that. I'm just saying, cigarette smugglers, how do you going to hold them accountable when you're in government? You can't. And that's why you're seeing drug dealers running around loose, because half of them are wearing political regalia. In the same crowd, you are seeing the same Oliver Tambo song.
In closing, Lux, thank you so much for joining me. Is there anything else that we can look forward to? I'm sure you guys have got a long-term vision. Some of it maybe is for public consumption, some is not, but there's the Soweto politics coming up, township politics coming up. We're very thankful and grateful for that.
Olympics,
what did I say?
Politics.
Sorry. Politics
we can never, ever have
Soweto Olympics,
sure.
Township Olympics.
Yeah.
And you've now let us know that you guys are looking to build a skills development school.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we can look forward to you guys, whether in the near or the far future?
Yeah, look, I think let's keep them guessing, because not everyone consumes what we say with a good heart.
True.
Some of them are just trying to plan on how we can stop them, because every time they take a step of success, it exposes our incompetency. That's the reality of things.
Yeah.
So how do we? So there's a lot of effort to try to stop us. That's why you even seeing some people getting paid on social media to speak as if they know us when they actually don't know us. And the media propaganda to spin around, making us look bad. But like I said, thankfully, majority of our people in real life understand who we are in real life. So I don't need data to prove who I am, Chan. So for us, it's that simple, my command. So the big plans that are coming, I think, like I said, we'll not announce them. It will just keep hitting them on the face. Who them is, we'll see with time. But the people that benefit from our leadership will always benefit, because the plans are there. They'll benefit season by season, season after season. You know the story. There's no season where we've never ever had a big single that's dropping and it sells platinum. It doesn't sell platinum. We always sell platinum with everything that we drop. You know the story. We always. Tell me, let's go back, let's play around. Ever since you knew Nhlanhla Lux at home, listening now, think of every season. big stories dropping, selling platinum. So we'll never disappoint you, because ours is not for them. It's for the people, by the people. And the people will always benefit as long as we are around as leaders. And what's beautiful is that you don't need to vote for me. By virtue of being alive, you'll always benefit from my life. And that's it.
Nhlanhla Lux, Commander, morning.
Commander Munni.